Morning, good afternoon, whenever you're watching this. Hope you had a good week. For today, we're going to be practicing the difference between using how much and how many. So let me share my screen with you. If you talked with me on the phone this week, that was a part of our conversation, was working on answering questions how much and how many. So here are two examples. One is similar to the question I asked you. How many eggs do you eat every day? The question with the woman is a little different. How much meat do you eat every week? And in these examples, the question words are in dark black letters. Palabras por preguntas is in negro oscuro. How many and how much are similar. They're meaning cuantos. They're wanting a number, okay? But the difference is, if we're thinking about how many, I can count by using only a number. I can count eggs. 1 egg, 2 eggs, 3 eggs, 4 eggs. If I'm talking about meat, for example, I cannot count 1 meat, 2 meat, 3 meat. It's impossible. Okay. Instead, I have to tell something specific about the meat to count it. For example, libras, pounds. How many pounds of meat do you eat every week? Or I might use ounces. How many ounces of meat do I eat? So I have to be more specific and tell how I'm counting that. The information here is kind of matching that. So if you look at the directions, it says to read the conversation, choose the picture with the food Gary eats. So we have two people, Dan and Gary, and they are talking about food. Here's our first person. How many eggs do you eat every day? Gary's response, a lot. I eat 3 or 4 eggs a day. How many vegetables do you eat every day? Not many. I eat 1 or 2 a day. How much meat do you eat? A lot. I eat meat all the time. How much cheese do you eat? Not much. Sometimes I eat 1 slice. Right, I've said the words for pronunciation. Take a minute and read this to yourself, the information, and you're going to want to put the picture with the food that Gary eats. Okay, so which is first, second, and third? Right. If you need more time for reading, then pause or stop the video. Okay, I'm going to show our answers. Okay, so here we have, this picture is the correct picture. Notice why it's correct. How many eggs does he eat? A lot, 3 or 4. Well, when I look at picture 2, there is only 1 egg. So picture 2, incorrecto, because only 1 egg. It must be number 1 or number 3. 3 or 4, that is correct. Okay, let's look at vegetables. How many vegetables do you eat every day? Not many. I eat 1 or 2. Look at the pictures. not many. It's more of a negative answer. Picture 1 has many vegetables. No, incorrect. It is not many vegetables. It is only 1 or 2. Look at picture 3. Only 1 vegetable, the cucumber. So, okay, that's looking good. We have 3 or 4 eggs, not many vegetables, 1 or 2. Let's make sure we think 3 is right, but let's double check with the meat. How much meat? All the time. I eat meat all the time. So definitely meat, yes. And cheese? 1 slice. Slice. That word slice might be a new word for you. Slice means 1 thin piece, okay? The thin part of the cheese, delgado, okay? This is not really a slice, it is big. So when we talk about cheese, bread, anything you cut, it is the idea of cutting, cortar. So a slice is when you have cut the food. Cortar comida means then a slice. So cheese, bread, even apple, slice of apple. If you've cut it, it's a slice. All right, picture 3 is the correct. It has 3 or 4 eggs, not many vegetables, meat, and a slice of cheese. Correct. How do we know then about how to give the correct answer in a conversation like that? Remember what we talked about before. When we talk about how many, you can answer with a short answer like a lot or not many. A lot is the positive mucho, or not many, nada or cero, poco, okay? And notice you're using the word many and it matches the same. The word here in our answer is the same. Palabra en respuesta is mismo. Many, many. You can also answer with a number. So how many eggs do you eat every day? 4, 5. So when you have a question like this, you have 2 options. Dos opciones. Hablar número, 4 eggs, o hablar en general. Mucho, a lot, or poco, not many. Those are your 2 options. When you talk about much, it is the same. You have 2 options. Opción una is específico. How much meat do you eat every day? 1 pound, una libra. Or option dos, option 2, generale. Mucho carne, a lot. Or poco, not much. Notice again, the word here is the same. You are matching the word. How much? Tiene mismo palabra en tu respuesta. Much. How much meat do you eat every day? A lot. Or not much. So I'm going to go through and show you some examples of these type of questions and using that, okay? So here's our picture. Think first about what foods you are seeing. So give yourself a minute in English. What are the foods in the picture? All right, let's see if you named all of the foods. We have juice, salad with, it looks like lettuce and tomato, chicken, apple, and potatoes. Now, let's practice giving an answer. We are going to give the general answer, so not a specific answer in this case. Tu respuesta is no específico en ejemplo. Tu respuesta is generale. How much chicken is there? And hopefully you gave the answer up a lot because it is a big chicken. How many apples are there? It's only a small amount. Remember, we're matching our word, mismo palabra, in negativo or in poco. Not many. Try 3 and 4 on your own. How much juice is there? Not much. How many potatoes are there? Have your answer? A lot. Okay. All right, let's move on to the next practice example. And again, you're going to be matching the question with the specific type of food. And remember, it is about counting. So es importante pensar qué cosa es cantar or no, este cosa es no cantar. I cannot count it, so I need to use a different question word. So here we have bananas. When you think about bananas, are you counting bananas? Sí, es posible contar bananas. Or no, it's not possible. Imposible contar bananas. If we are counting, remember we use how many. No counting, how much. So if I want to ask about bananas, which will I use? ¿Cuál pregunta por bananas? Did you say how many? How many is correct? ¿Por qué? Bananas, you can count. What about soup, sopa? How much? How many? Which question? Did you say how much? I hope so. Soup, no contar. I cannot count the soup. So I say how much. Let's read those two together. How many bananas can you see? How much soup is in the bowl? All right, let's try the next examples. We have ice cream and milk. What is the correct question for ice cream? How much? Why? You cannot count ice cream. What about milk? What is the correct question for milk? How much again? I cannot count milk. Let's read the questions together. Juntos. How much ice cream is there? How much milk do we have? All right, one more example of practicing. We have eggs and sandwiches. What question words do you use? ¿Cuál palabras por preguntas? What about eggs? Can you count eggs? Yes. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I use how many because I can count eggs. Sandwiches. What is the question word for sandwiches? How many? Why? Sandwiches are counting. Let's say each of the questions together. Juntos. How many eggs do we have? How many sandwiches are there? All right, our next section again is just more practice. I'm going to let you read through these examples. Let's take just a minute and look at the food first and make sure you have your correct translation in your head. If you have one you don't know, of course, stop and pause and translate. Carrots, Zahoria, is that right? I know it's a Z word. Milk, bread, onions, chicken, tomatoes, berries, uh, fresa, I cannot think, fresa, FR, in Spanish, I'm thinking here, and water. So if you don't know those words, stop, get your translator out, and do some looking. All right, now we're going to look at which is the correct word for our sentence. How do we know it is correct? We know because of the question word. So for example, we have carrots and milk in number 1. Carrots are a counting word. Contar carrots? Yes. Milk? No counting. So I'm looking at my question word, how many? How many? Is this a counting question or is it no counting? It is a counting question. So I must select marque respuesta por contar, carrots. How many carrots are there? This is the correct answer. Look at number 2. How much? Bread or onions? How much? No counting. Which word is no counting? Bread or onions? I can count onions. 1, 2, 3, 4 onions. I cannot count bread. My correct answer is bread. How much bread do we need? Number 3, how many? Counting. So which response can we count? Chicken or tomatoes? I cannot count chicken. I can count tomatoes. So my response, how many? Counting. Tomatoes, counting. How many tomatoes does she have? Number 4, berries, water. How much berries? How much water? How much is not a counting question. It is different. So can I count berries? Yes. 1 strawberry, 2 strawberries, or 1 raspberry, 2 raspberries. Water? Can I count 1 water, 2 water? No. So it is a non-counting word. How much water? For practice, let's practice reading the questions. Let's read together. How many carrots are there? How much bread do we need? How many tomatoes does she have? How much water is there? Okay. All right, moving on to our last example. And what we're going to be doing here is your homework section. So you're going to need a piece of paper and a pencil. So necesito papel y lápiz. And you're going to want to make sure you are able to write down your questions. Okay, so if you look at the pictures here, you can see that we have lots of pictures, and what I want you to do is I want you to write the correct question for each picture. So escribir correcto pregunta por cada pictura, por cada comida. So for example, if we are looking at lemons, are you going to write how many lemons or how much lemons? That is the question that you're going to be wanting to answer there. Okay, think for a minute. And then I'm going to show you the correct answer so you understand how to record it. All right, Here's how you'll want to record your answer. How many lemons? There's our question. Many, not much. Porque lemons we can count. How many lemons? And then you'll want to use are there. And in this case, the verb, este verbo, is are, porque lemons is más. Una lemon? Then we use is, okay? So this is for number 1. Now, I'm gonna have you look at number 2, cheese, and I want you to think about what is the question you would use for cheese. Think for a moment. I'm gonna give you the example. Is cheese a counting example or a non-counting example? All right, here's my response. How much cheese is there? Okay, so notice I'm using how much because it is counting. And when I use how much, notice my verb is changing to is. Okay, so verbo is diferente por pregunta how much. Verbo is, no are. So lemons counting, the verb is are. No counting, our verb is. What I want you to do for your homework, there are 8 foods. I want you to take a moment and go through and write 8 questions. So 1 question for each of the food items listed, okay? So por trabajo en tu casa, escribir 8 preguntas por cada comida en la computadora, okay? And then when you're done, of course, you can send me a picture of your questions and I will check them over for you and see if you've got them all correct, okay? All right, have a great weekend if I don't talk to you before the weekend is over.